We started this hadith and a very important topic. As I mentioned from very beginning, even the Prophet ﷺ, when he was mentioning this hadith, the Sahaba Kiram Ridwanullahi Ta'ala alayhim said, Ya Rasulullah, it is a very important message. It's just like you are departing and leaving us. So every single word of this hadith show the importance. And we started with taqwa, and then the as-sama wa ta'a wa in ta'ammara alaykum abd. And the next one is وَإِنَّهُ مَنْ يَعِيشُ مِنْكُمْ فَسَيَرَى اخْتِلَافًا كَثِيرًا. Those who will stay behind, those who will after me, they will see اختلافًا كثيرًا. So what you should do in this ikhtilaf? عَلَيْكُمْ بِالسُنَّةِ وَسُنَّةِ الْخُلَفَاءِ الرَّاشِدِينَ الْهَادِيِّينَ الْمَهْدِيِّينَ. Al-ikhtilaf is mentioned in Quran in various places. And I mentioned even yesterday some part of it. إِنَّ الَّذِينَ فَرَّقُوا دِينَهُمْ وَكَانُوا شِيَعًا لَسْتَ مِنْهُمْ فِي شَيْءٍ. Chapter 6, verse number 159. And also, وَلَا تَكُونُوا كَالَّذِينَ تَفَرَّقُوا وَاخْتَلَفُوا مِنْ بَعْدِ مَا جَاءَهُمُ الْبَيِّنَاتُ. Be not like those who divided after clear evidence. وَاخْتَلَفُوا مِنْ بَعْدِ مَا جَاءَهُمُ الْبَيِّنَاتُ. So, these are the verses which very clearly indicating that any ikhtilaf is not good. But the ulama says that the ikhtilaf has two types. One is ikhtilaf al-mahmud and one is ikhtilaf al-mazmum. Ikhtilaf al-mahmud is a search for knowledge. And this is mentioned by ulama that this ikhtilaf is a rahmah for ummah. With this ikhtilaf, you are not humiliating someone, you are not accusing someone, you are not challenging someone. And this ikhtilaf is only to find out the murad of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through Quran and the murad of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam through Sunnah. And this kind of ikhtilaf was in the time of the Sahaba Ridwanullahi Ta'ala alayhim ajmain. And one very simple example of this ikhtilaf, when the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam sent a group of Sahaba to Banu Qurayza, and what the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said to them that لا يصلين أحد العصر إلا في بني قريظة. لا يصلين أحد العصر إلا في بني قريظة. Then no one of you should read Asr but in Banu Qurayza, where the Prophet ﷺ said him to go. So what's happened? The Sahaba, when they start journey, in between the time of Asr came, and they was about to qaza, the Asr time. So some Sahaba says, let's read namaz and then we can't reach on time. The other Sahaba says, you didn't heard what the Prophet ﷺ says. He said that you should not be reading namaz but in Qurayza. But now they divided into, some Sahaba says the Prophet ﷺ was not telling us to leave namaz. His command was that be quick and try your best to reach on time. So the main purpose was not the salat, the main purpose to be there on time. So now, unfortunately, something happened. For any reason, we delayed. So rather than leaving namaz and doing the qaza, we should read namaz and then go to Banu Qurayza. The other says no. As the Prophet ﷺ, the same way we have to do. He said read in Qurayza, we will read in Qurayza. So some read and some not. Some read in Banu Qurayza and some here. After completion of their job, when they came back to the Prophet ﷺ, so the same issue raised to the Prophet ﷺ. Ya Rasulullah, you said this and this is what's happened. The Sahaba divided into some read it, some not. So what was your murad? And the Prophet ﷺ replied, you both are okay. Means sometimes the ikhtilaf is not to create fitna and fasad, it's just misunderstanding of something. Something that the murad is this, something the murad is this. Like here, some Sahaba says no. When he said you have to do it and the namaz have to be read there. The other says it actually is not the issue of the namaz. The meaning, the command of the Prophet, he meant by this command to be there on time, not to be delayed, not to go in darkness. So this is one example. There are many other examples. And that's how the ulama says the ikhtilaf of Imam Malik, ikhtilaf of Imam Shafi'i, ikhtilaf of Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal, they all were doing ikhtilaf with each other, not to humiliate one another, not to insult each other, but only to find out the murad of the Quran and the murad of the Sunnah. And many other muhaddiseen. I just only mentioned because these are the four schools of thought. There were some other great muhaddiseen. They had ikhtilaf. With this ikhtilaf, the ummah benefited from this ikhtilaf. And I mentioned before that the people, those who are living near Indonesia and Malaysia, mostly they're depending on seafood. And we Ahnaf living in Asia subcontinent, we are not depending on seafood. But see the ikhtilaf of Imam Shafi'i and Imam Abu Hanifa. Imam Abu Hanifa only allow fish from sea. The rest is not. Imam Shafi'i allow all seafood halal. And see, this is the taqdeer. All the Indonesia and Malaysia, these people follow Imam Shafi'i. And for them, his life is very easy. So they are consuming the seafood. If they were following Imam Abu Hanifa, it would be a very difficult life for them because the biggest source of their food is from sea. So sometimes this ikhtilaf itself gives you rahmah and barakah. And there are many other examples. So that's why ikhtilaf in furu, if you take it just to find out the haqq, and then you are thinking, this is my understanding, and you might be right, but this is my understanding. And this was the attitude of these great Sahaba and the great companion of the Prophet, and after them the great muhaddiseen. But one is khilaf. Ikhtilaf is the meaning of khilaf. Khilaf is completely different thing. The difference between ikhtilaf and khilaf, the khilaf, you are opposing someone without evidence, while in ikhtilaf you are always disputing someone with evidence. This is the biggest difference. With evidence, when you do ikhtilaf with someone, so this ikhtilaf has some base, and with this base you are doing ikhtilaf, and this is mahmud. And the main reason in this ikhtilaf to find out the haqq. And so this ikhtilaf has happened sometimes because of the linguistic ambiguity, sometimes the method of accepting the hadith, sometimes the usul which they made the usuliyin al-mujtahideen. For example, Imam Abu Hanifa rahmatullahi ta'ala alayh, when the issue of the hadith comes, he mostly take the hadith from Abdullah bin Masud radiyallahu ta'ala. His criteria that in Sahaba there were some fiqh, those who have the very good understanding of hadith. So they were not only memorizing hadith, but they have the sense of understanding much greater than some other. So Abu Hanifa always prefer the Sahaba, those who have the fiqh of hadith as well, because they said they were not only listening, but they knew the reason behind it. So this was the criteria of Abu Hanifa mostly in hadith, where the reasoning is very important because they were directly listening and they know the sense of it. So if whatever they said and the way they explain it, it is more valid. Imam Shafi'i usul is other. He said the chain of the hadith itself. If the chain of the hadith is strong, then it will be taken. Imam Malik has a different criteria. If the ikhtilaf come, Imam Malik prefer the city of Medina, their habit and their practice. Why? He said the Prophet ﷺ lived all of his life in Medina, and the generation after generation, the changing occurs very rarely, quickly. So that's why the Medina people have seen directly the Prophet ﷺ. If there is any ikhtilaf, so we will look at how the people of Medina are doing. So his preference was the ta'am, they called it ta'amul al-Medina. So the ta'amul al-Medina was the preference of Sayyidina Imam Malik rahmatullahi ta'ala. And the Imam Shafi'i was the chain of the hadith. But Imam Abu Hanifa was the fiqh and the understanding. Because some Sahaba, there is no doubt that some Sahaba was not only, they were narrating the hadith, but they at the same time was giving the fiqh of the hadith as well, the understanding. And that's why there is a ikhtilaf. And there are so many things, but only one ikhtilaf about the mi'raj, whether the mi'raj of the Prophet was physical or the spiritual. So the Sahaba had ikhtilaf upon it. And many other things they have ikhtilaf. Even the Quranic verse, the period time for the lady, whether it start from the purity or from the quru. The quru has the both meaning, means opposite meaning. The menses has a meaning and the same time purity from menses. They both are used the same word quru. So وَالْمُطَلَّقَاتُ يَتَرَبَّصْنَ بِأَنفُسِهِنَّ ثَلَاثَةَ قُرُوءٍ. If someone divorced the wife, so the 3-month period starts from when? When the period is start or after completion of period. Imam Shafi and Abu Hanifa have a great ikhtilaf on these things. And the reason is the word itself. In the dictionary allow both the meanings. So one is started from purity and other is started from the period 7. So this ikhtilaf is always the rahmah. They try to find out the truth. But as far as our ikhtilaf nowadays, all the good things I told you, look at our ikhtilaf. Our ikhtilaf is from A to Z, from top to bottom, only fitna. And the ulama says that this ikhtilaf is fitna, it is actually khilaf. First of all, it is without evidence. In Punjabi, in our language, say, fulane naal tera kya masla hai? Aake bas menu changa nahi lagda. So when you can changa nahi lagda, this is exactly the ulama mention it, that this is without having any evidence, you don't, and this is, they said the reason is, either personally you have a hatred for someone, or jealousy of someone, or the family issues you have with someone, or the business is rivalry, or, so these are the reason in the society. Whether it is the racism, sometimes the racism itself is the reason of ikhtilaf. Sometimes the color itself is the reason of ikhtilaf. Sometimes the business rivalry itself is the reason of ikhtilaf. Sometimes the family dispute is the sabab of ikhtilaf. Sometimes the personal hatred itself is the sabab of ikhtilaf. So these are the base which you call khilaf. Means the base is personal, the base is family, the base is business, but you are not mentioning this ikhtilaf, this personal hatred, you give him some other color. So these ikhtilaf is, the Quran mentioned that with this ikhtilaf, you will destroy yourself, you will never benefit from it. And the more you have this, the more division come in the society. And for this ikhtilaf, the hadith which is mentioning that this kind of ikhtilaf will not bring to the community or to the society, but only further destruction, further fitna. And here the Prophet ﷺ said, وَإِنَّهُ مَنْ يَعِيشُ مِنْكُمْ فَسَيَرَى اخْتِلَافًا كَثِيرًا. The people after me will see a great ikhtilaf. So then what should be your attitude and what the criteria for you? بِسُنَّتِي وَسُنَّةِ الْخُلَفَاءِ الرَّاشِدِينَ. Look at my sunnah and the sunnah of Khulafa Rashidin. So these ulama and the scholar and the aimma, those who derive their usul from sunnah, whoever you follow, you will be right. You know, when we say this is Imam Shafi says, Imam Malik says, Imam Abu Hanifa says, some people misguide you. He say, no, shall I listen to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, I listen to Imam Shafi. Shall I listen to Muhammad or I listen to Imam Ahmad? Astaghfirullah. No fool can claim that Abu Hanifa is opposing Prophet Muhammad. Na'uzu billah, na'uzu billah. It is kufr. It is complete kufr. No one can say that Imam Shafi is opposing. When we say, and the people just say so completely, it's a foolish word to, and thinking that shall I follow Abu Hanifa or Muhammad, na'uzu billah, they derived it according to their understanding. If you have something better understanding the Imam Shafi, bring it. If you have some better understanding the Imam Abu Hanifa, bring it. If you have better understanding the Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal or Imam Malik, then bring it. If it's not that these are the Imamul Huda followed by the Ummah, this was the understanding they derived from Quran and they have derived it from Sunnah. So following Abu Hanifa doesn't mean he brought new religion. Following Imam Shafi doesn't mean he brought new religion. Following Imam Malik doesn't mean they brought new religion. They derived with the best of their ability from the Quran and Sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If you have this ability, just come on and the field is open for you. But first of all, be like Abu Hanifa. First of all, be like Imam Shafi'i. First of all, first only Abu Hanifa, when he used to make one masala as a masala, there were thousands and thousands of students before they have to think about it. And then it goes to the 400 students, then goes to the 40 students, then go to the 4 top, then go to the 3 sahibain. From 3 the matter come to Abu Hanifa, and then they finalize something. This was a rigorous practice by these Aimma. They used to teach, their houses and their masajid was full of the student of that time, and each student itself was a great muhaddis, was a great imam. So they all used to debate. It is not like a Shaykh sitting somewhere in the corner and he said, no, this is take it like this take it like this. After such a big practice, they made this fiqh of Islam. So when someone is confusing you with this, that who is so and so, then you tell him that come be like him, I will follow you. You have the same attitude, the same knowledge, the same method of understanding the Quran and Sunnah, the same vast knowledge, the way they have spent it. Then it's just exactly like someone say, who is Imam Bukhari? I know the hadith. I can know the way he did it, the way he was Hafizul Hadith, the way after of 6 lakh hadithon se, the collection of Sahih al-Bukhari, be like him, then come and claim something. If you are not be like them, not in knowledge, not in understanding, not in the fiqh, not in the Quran, not in the Sunnah, then follow these people, those who derived everything from Quran and Sunnah. So their fiqh is not the ikhtilaf. This is the khilaf al-mahmud. This is to find out the haqq. Ikhtilaf is when you are disputing someone without evidence. And this is called khilaf, and this is mazmoom. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us from these kind of fitna. This kind of ikhtilaf, not only in religion, politically is a destruction, socially is destruction, family-wise is destruction, because all these ikhtilaf and really khilaf in the name of ikhtilaf, they are only create division in the society. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا يا مولانا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. اللهم علمنا بما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. اللهم يا شافي الأمراض يا دافع البليات يا قاضي الحاجات يا منزل البركات يا غياث المستغيثين. اللهم سهل أمورنا اللهم سهل أمورنا اللهم سهل أمورنا. اللهم انصر الإسلام والمسلمين في كل أنحاء العالم، خاصة على أرض فلسطين يا رب العالمين، برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.